Look at the bedhead. Scruffy. I really loathe the lull days on YouTube. These days you go through where it's just like all is silent. You know, the silence is deafening in the communication, the interaction, the comments. There are days where comments come in an overabundance, 20 comments, long conversational comments, and it's what I thrive for on YouTube. It's the whole purpose. The likes, the dislikes, thumbs ups, thumbs downs, whatever you want to call it, views, none of it matters to me. I don't care about any of it. Strictly what I care about is the communication, the conversation, and the comments. And there are days like the last couple of days, and it happens every so often, been happening a little more often as of late, where it's just like, where is everybody? And it's one of those things where the way YouTube is, it's such a Sisyphean uphill battle from time to time. And the thing is, it can, you know, get to be like that for somebody like me, who all my life has had self-worth issues in the earliest part of my life. I mean, I've evolved to the point now where I don't really give a fuck whatever anybody thinks about me in a negative connotation. You can tell me anything. You can say anything to me. Dislike my videos, whatever it is. I don't care. It's just like there's so much more value to get out of life that I'm not going to waste my time on any of that shit. It's very much the interactivity, the connectivity with others that is the impetus, the drive I have to do videos. And, you know, when you can just block somebody who's trying to mock you or you know, ignore them, report them, and all that kind of stuff, it's like, why waste so many brain cells worrying about anything along those lines? But you can be, you know, sort of reformatted on YouTube in the way it's set up to feel that competitorship. I mean, you know, especially in the anime review thing, which is my focus as of late. I look at some of my contemporaries, and some of their videos go up an hour to 2 hours to 5 hours, depending on my sleep schedule and you know, the work that I have to put into recording and then editing, all strictly via mobile device, all that kind of stuff. Can't add any fancy schmancy, you know, inset imagery or sound effects or music or anything like that, at least to a point. And I don't really want to do any of that. I just want to have a conversation. But sometimes I see my contemporaries, especially in the anime circuit, putting up their videos, and within minutes they have dozens of comments that just flock to them. And I don't even mean like the rudimentary first comments. I'm talking about really genuine, lengthy conversational comments. And there are days where that's what I get. I get 20 some odd comments on a video. And it's like my life's blood. I'm like, yes, this is what I want. You know, sometimes I'm not quick enough to get right back to them within minutes. Sometimes I am if I happen to be on. But when I get that engagement, that's really what thoroughly, you know, excites me and invigorates me. And there are days like the last couple of days where it's been very few and far between. And there just hasn't been anybody around, anybody watching. You know, I see the views racking up on the videos, and I see my subscriber count jumping up. It's just like, I don't care. If people aren't really talking to me, what's the point? I just want to be talked to. I want to have a conversation and go back and forth with you guys, the people watching. And it's like, you know, you get into like all these questions when you see other people. You should never gauge your success or perceived success or lack thereof on what you see other people accomplishing. It's the worst case scenario on YouTube, and I've talked many times about trying to not let yourself fall into that, you know, pitfall. But sometimes it is easier said than done when you have a background where you have had self-doubt in the past. It calls up these questions like, what am I doing wrong? You know, is there something wrong with like the 5 years I've been on YouTube and I've evolved and I feel like I've gotten this down to a very natural cause and effect of watching a thing, recording a video, getting it edited, getting it uploaded, and having that conversation. You start questioning everything. And at least for me, it's one of those things where it could be a day after getting 6 comments that are thoroughly engaging, thoroughly conversational, even to the point of being complimentary, saying, hey, I really loved your video. I love what you had to say about it. Some brilliant insights and all this kind of stuff. The next day I get nothing and it's back to square one. Very Sisyphean in that. And, you know, it's just like you really start to wonder, am I unlikable? Is there something wrong with me? The way I do the videos, is people, you know, their interest on the other people's part just waning? And maybe they, you know, feel like they're not seeing anything evolving or engaging somehow. You know, I mean, I'd like to think that the comments I do get, and the ones that are very much, you know, supportive and all these kinds of things, these are the things that matter the most to me. I'm not turning a blind eye to the friendships I've made and the support that I've garnered, but I can't then also lie and say there aren't times where it feels like, where the hell are you guys? You know, I know people have lives and they're busy, and I don't spend all my time, thankfully, just obsessed and watching, you know, the kettle boil, whatever you want to call it, just to see if I'm going to get anything. I do have a life, I do have things that I do and everything like that, but there are days where I don't, and I start watching. I'm watching, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm watching, and there's just nothing, and it's just excruciating, because you wonder what the difference is between this guy's video, who has the dozen comments within minutes, and your own. And so I'm always very humbled because of that, you know. I have always been grateful, utmost grateful, of just getting any attention whatsoever, for people to, you know, give of their time to listen to whatever I have to say, my perspective, this one jackanape with a camera, as I've called myself in other videos. And it's also one of those things where, like, especially in the anime community, I have one show at, you know, current, that I'm currently covering, never intended to, but I'm particularly scathing about it, and possibly even becoming unlikable to certain people because of how scathing I am. Whereas in the other videos of other things I'm covering, I'm talking very much boisterously about the things I love about it, and, you know, and I start to wonder, am I maybe turning people off because of that? Maybe they think I'm an asshole, you know? And like, I don't want to hear anything else this guy has to say, because he's so way off and so wrong about this, you know? These are just all the things that go through your mind when you're a video maker, and either your views are very low, you know, on that uphill battle to try to garner attention. And the YouTube format, I mean, you don't have to be an attention whore to seek attention. You're making videos to start a dialogue. Some people do it because they want to be famous. They want to, you know, have fortune and fame and all these kinds of things, all the wrong kinds of things to be doing. Just a pastime for fun for me. And especially in having done it so long, it's just frustrating sometimes, because you need that constant influx. It's like being a stage performer. And once you have a really good night, you constantly yearn for those applause. You constantly yearn for that audience engagement. And on days where, even if it's just one comment that comes in that I can respond to quickly, it's like, sometimes it feels like it's not enough. And what am I doing wrong? Am I turning people off? These are the things that inherently get brought up in my mind when I face that. And it's like I say, it could be a day after getting just the best kind of supportive, friendly, conversational comments. And I don't know if it's a product of just the way YouTube is. You know, it's almost hard not to toss a rock and compare yourself to other people's success or lack thereof. And a lot of people are really building from the ground up. And I try to be supportive, but I also, you know, I have to go and gravitate toward where my interests lie. You know, there are some people who are contemporaries of mine in the way they do reviews. I don't care for it. I don't like it. I don't like the persona they put on screen and everything like that. And I much more gravitate toward somebody who just pops on the camera, just talks and talks freely, you know. And I don't know. There's so much mental waxing and waning that comes with being a video maker, being a reviewer, and being somebody who wants to be conversational. And so it's like I don't even really take note of the likes and the dislikes and you know, the view counts and everything. Only do I ever really gauge those as compared to whether or not I'm getting comment, engagement, feedback, communicative factors, you know. Like I had a couple of people bring up to me recently, oh, you got the trolls coming back with the dislikes. And I'm like, I don't care. You know, if they don't have anything to say, fuck them. I don't spend any time even mildly considering that. So it's like, dislike all you want. Like all you want, dislike all you want, view all you want. If you want to have a conversation, that's what matters the most. And some days there just isn't any of that. And I feel like I'm left hanging, and I hate feeling like I'm left hanging. I hate being left hanging. I don't know. C'est la vie, I guess.